Good evening and welcome to our nightly telecast of Just the News. Now with Just the News, where we bring you the news matter-of-factly, almost Doordarshan style, our attempt is to first of all restore the dignity to the news and to the profession, and of course to be able to give you just the information without any opinion, any outrage or any debate. So this is what happened today in Just the News on the 2nd of April. The Gujarat State Government Assembly has passed the Gujarat Freedom of Religion Amendment Bill 2021. Now this is an amendment of an earlier bill that existed called the Gujarat Freedom of Religion Act 2003. This is colloquially effectively the Love Jihad law that has already been passed by several other states. Now in Gujarat specifically, the bill provides for imprisonment of 3 to 5 years and for a fine of up to 2 lakh rupees for a marriage that is forced and lured for religious conversion. Now, if the alleged victim happens to be either a minor or a member of an SC/ST community, then the punishment goes up to 4 to 7 years in jail and a fine of no less than 3 lakh rupees. If there is an organization involved in aiding such a marriage, the person heading that organization could face jail of up to 3 to 10 years and a fine of up to 5 lakh rupees. Now, the bill also apparently says that marriages solemnized purely for the purpose of conversion will be declared null and void, and the burden of proof lies on the accused, which means the person who is accused will have to prove that that was not the reason. Parents, siblings and other relatives of the victim can lodge a complaint, and the offences shall be non-bailable. The original act from 2003 made allurement of an individual for conversion illegal and defined allurement as 2 things. First of all, any gift or gratification, cash or kind, given to someone to get them to convert. Secondly, any grant of material benefit, monetary or otherwise, given to someone to get them to convert. In this amendment, it adds a third definition of allurement to conversion as promising a better lifestyle, divine blessings or otherwise. Now, according to a detailed report by the newspaper The Hindu, Gujarat's Minister of State for Home, Pradeep Singh Jadeja, has been quoted saying this amendment was required to stop people from luring Hindu girls into marriage with the intention of converting them. He also said that there is international finance being channelized to lure Hindu girls into marriage and convert them. Gujarat's Deputy CM Nitin Patel has also been quoted by The Hindu saying very clearly that this is not targeted at any specific community, and if Hindu boys are forcing girls from other communities, they will also face the same law and rules. Other states that have passed similar laws up till now are Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Bringing you an update on the COVID situation in India, and it's not good. India recorded 81,466 cases and 469 deaths in the last 24 hours, making it the highest single-day spike in 6 months. Maharashtra, unfortunately, remains the worst affected state, well ahead of the others, with 43,186 new cases and 249 deaths. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has ruled out a lockdown in Delhi, saying the situation is not as serious now as it was before. He said that though it is being considered a second wave across the country, it's really the 4th wave in Delhi. He also said he's reviewing the situation, and if the need for a lockdown does arise, he will do it after making consultations. The cases are spreading fast, he said. This is concerning, but there's no reason to panic. In October, he said, while daily cases were around 3,000 or 4,000 last year, like it is now, there were many patients in the ICU. There were many deaths as well. But this wave is less serious than the previous ones. More people are in home isolation. Delhi has reported 3,583 cases in the last 24 hours. Night curfews in Pune have been revised from what was 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. to now 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. This comes after Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar reviewed the situation in Pune. Restaurants, bars, malls, religious places will be shut for the next 7 days in Pune. Restaurants will only be allowed to provide delivery up to 10 p.m. at night. Pune's Divisional Commissioner Saurabh Rao has said that no social, cultural or political event will be allowed for the next 7 days except for weddings and last rites, and even then weddings will be limited to 50 people and last rites to 20 people. Pune recorded 8,011 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. According to directives by the state government of Maharashtra, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport will now offer the RT-PCR regular test at a reduced cost of 600 rupees starting the 1st of April. Previously, the cost per test was 850 rupees. A regular test, which will now cost 600 rupees, will give you a result in 8 hours. An expedited express test, which delivers a result in 13 minutes, will cost you 4,500 rupees. On Friday, the Uttar Pradesh government extended the closure of schools up to class 8 till the 11th of April. Earlier, the government had shut schools for students until the 31st of March. Uttar Pradesh altogether recorded 2,600 cases and 9 deaths in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed special alertness in Lucknow, Kanpur, Meerut, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ghaziabad and Agra. In Madhya Pradesh, the government has placed urban areas in Chindwara district and Ratlam city under lockdown, while it will come into force in Beetal district and parts of Khargun from Friday night. That's tonight. The lockdown will be imposed till 6 a.m. on the 5th of April. Moving away from COVID right now, according to monthly data released by the Centre for Monitoring Indian Economy, urban unemployment has gotten a lot worse. It's climbed to 7.24% in March, a 0.25% higher than it was in February. Now, unfortunately, the number of women unemployed increased by 2% in that same time to 19.07%, and the data showed that the labour market had shrunk by almost 3 million people in March compared to February, which basically means that 3 million people have stopped working or have lost their jobs in that period. Experts believe that the surge of infections and restrictions put by states are having an impact on jobs, and it can affect the revival of the economy. Taking a look at what's going on in the election states, the Election Commission has ordered a re-poll in the polling station at the Rathabari Assembly seat of Assam after reports emerged late last night of an EVM being transported in the private vehicle belonging to a BJP candidate. That video went viral. On Friday, the Election Commission, that's today, the Election Commission released a press statement that said that issued a show cause notice to the presiding officer and suspended him along with 3 other officials for this very serious lapse. Now, violence broke out in Assam's Barak Valley region after some Election Commission officials used a private vehicle to transport the EVM, and it turned out that that private vehicle belonged to the BJP candidate. Today, ANI quoted sources saying, and I quote, "As per sources, the Election Commission car had broken down and officials took a lift in a passing car, which was later identified to belonging to a BJP candidate. Several politicians like Priyanka Gandhi and others urged the Election Commission to take action." In Mumbai, 2 Mumbai-based lawyers, Dhruti Kapadia and Kunal Tiwari, have filed a PIL in the Bombay High Court seeking directions to the central government, state government and the Mumbai civic body to provide door-to-door COVID-19 vaccination facilities for senior citizens above the age of 75 and those who are physically challenged, bedridden or specially abled. The petitioners have asked the High Court to pass orders to waive off the mandatory documents for vaccination like Aadhaar and the PAN card. Now, this comes after the BMC had made a statement over the last 24 hours saying the central government denied permission to go door-to-door and vaccinate special cases. Let's take a look now at news coming in from the world of business. Now, in spite of COVID, India's merchandise exports have recorded a massive jump, the biggest jump ever recorded in 1 month, where it jumped 58% in March this year compared to March last year, and touched a record high of $34 billion in 1 month. Now, I must also remind you that when comparing March this year and March last year, we bring in something called a base effect, because March last year was so bad that March this year looks phenomenally better. Now, just to remind you, March last year saw exports collapse 35%, which means they shrank 35%, almost a third. Imports shrank 29%, and this is because in March last year, India, as well as many other countries around the world who would have been consumers of these exports, went into lockdown and they were no consumers. So which is why when you compare March last year and this year, you'll see a sharp spike, which is the highest spike we've seen in a month. But there is a silver lining. If we compare February this year and March this year, there's still an improvement, and that is good news for the economy. In terms of value, both exports and imports have improved significantly between February and March, and that indicates that there is improvement in the economy. Taking a look now at news coming in from across the world. Worrying news coming out of Brazil. Brazil seems to have detected a new variant of COVID, very similar to the first one detected in South Africa. The new variant was reported a day after Brazil recorded 3,780 deaths in one day because of COVID. It also recorded 91,000 cases in the last 24 hours. This comes after Brazil has been grappling with record-breaking case surges caused by a homegrown variant that is now being called P1. Brazil is the second worst affected country in the world after the United States, India being the third worst affected. And the country currently accounts for a quarter of the total COVID-19 daily deaths worldwide, which is more than any other country. According to Reuters, the World Health Organization epidemiologist Maria Van Kerkhove has said that Brazil is facing a very serious situation due to COVID, and many hospital ICUs are now more than 90% full. Turning our sights to Myanmar, Myanmar activists held a candlelit protest today condemning the internet shutdown. The internet has been shut down in the country for 18 straight days. Anti-coup protesters shared radio frequency, offline internet resources and providers of text messages to give alerts to those who are protesting in spite of the internet shutdown. Access to the internet has already been severely restricted by the military. It cut mobile data for 18 straight days. The new cuts now include a cut of wireless broadband, although apparently fiber services are still working. Remember, the coup was announced on the 1st of February. 500 people have died and 3,000 people have been arrested. Staying with Myanmar, nearly 2 months after that military coup, Myanmar's detained leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been charged with a new law of breaking the official secrets law. She now faces a total of 5 charges, and this is how they were added. 1, illegally importing walkie-talkies. 2, flouting corona rules and restrictions, inciting public unrest, receiving $600,000 in gold from a former minister of the Yangon region. Her lawyer told Reuters that the new charge, which has now been added, which carries a jail term of up to 14 years ago, was communicated to them only 2 days ago. The next court hearing on these charges will be held on the 12th of April. A quick look at the world of sports as well. Due to the massive surge of COVID cases in Brazil, this year's Rio Open tennis tournament has been effectively cancelled. The ATP tournament was already postponed from its original date in February, but the organizers said the continued uncertainty around the pandemic means that the event will not be rescheduled, it will be cancelled altogether. India's cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar has been hospitalized after he tested positive for COVID on the 27th of March. He tweeted today thanking people for their wishes and prayers and said, "As a matter of abundant precaution under medical advice, I have been hospitalized. I hope to be back home in a few days. Take care, stay safe, everyone." End tweet. He also congratulated everyone for the 10th anniversary of India's World Cup win back in 2011. And also a tidbit of positive news before I let you go for the weekend. The Indian Army will be inducting women in its rank and file for the first time ever, as training of women cadets in the Corps of Military Police is scheduled to be completed in the next few weeks in Bengaluru. The training of 99 women military police started in Jan last year. Over 4,000 women have applied for training in the recent rally that was held by the Indian Army. That's a wrap on the news from us. Remember, in our YouTube video description, you will find source articles of all of this information. So you can, if you choose to read more about it, that's where you can do that. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with anyone you think might find it useful. And leave us a thumbs up or a word of encouragement if you think that this is something that we should continue doing. Thank you for watching. Have a nice weekend. Good night.